Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Force Anubis.
And I'm VZ Mark II.
And I'm the Geeky Panda.
Okay, guys, is sick. He won't be joining us.
Oh. It's like, hell. Got like two emotions going there.
Yeah, apparently the demons that are trying to stop NTR
Well,
Radio from happening, have been trying to stop NTR Radio from happening for like 7 years, have started using biological weapons against us.
Should we call the UN at this point? You know, I
What
feel
are they
like
going to do?
get a binding resolution.
It's a binding resolution by the United Nations.
I work for my ex-girlfriend. Oh! She doesn't believe in, what is it? What is it called? Let's say nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare is up on her books.
Oh, so she's a war criminal.
Yeah, we could say that.
Oh, you got good taste.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, so before we get into anything, here's what you do to get involved with the show. You hit up ntrradio.net, you click on the chat link, you give yourself a nickname on that page, hit the button and join us into the IRC channel. Alternatively, you can take your favorite IRC client, point it at irc.ryzen.net, and join us in the # SLC Media channel. In addition, you can get at us on Twitter at TAnubis, at VZMK2, at NTR_radio, and as always, the email address to get involved with the show is ntrradio@gmail.com. So, new season starts. So I've watched one thing so far, and I know you've watched the same thing, VZ.
yes.
So let's get right on into it. Ishizoku reviewers.
Yes. Really, very interesting first episode.
Interesting is a word for it, yes.
Just like, interesting's a word. Okay.
Well, it's like you knew the premise was coming. You had, with the whole Monster Girl thing, you had to know the premise was coming. Of course, someone is eventually gonna make a Monster Girl anime about. I wonder what sex is like with all these Monster Girls.
Here's the thing that because I looked at the manga real quick. Apparently, this show is even more lewder than in the manga.
Oh wow, you don't see that very often.
Very rarely, but this is, yeah. I know, cause it's without I don't think I have to state this. Watch the show uncensored.
Yeah.
This is one way you definitely have to watch it uncensored because it's.
Well, isn't it the best way to watch anime uncensored? No random, sources of lights, objects in front of stuff, or
Yeah,
pitch black
that's what they
darkness
did a
covering
lot.
half the screen.
Yeah, that's what they did a lot with this one from the censored place I've seen is stuff in front of. We also get in a very interesting angel character.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, what is this called again, specifically?
The English title is Interspecies Reviewers.
Interspecies reviewers?
Yes.
Yes. But you look it up under Ishizoku reviewers.
Yeah. So, basically, the whole premise is these two guys.
Two Chads.
It's a fantasy world. It's these two guys who the whole conceit of what they do is they
gotta fuck them all.
They roam around the red light district, going to all the brothels of the different monster girls, and then they write reviews of them. I can't make this up.
Wait. Oh, hold on.
Oh my god, are you kidding
They run
me?
into an angel who can't get into heaven because the halo got damaged. Turns out it's actually not a she or not a he. It's both. It's a hermaphrodite.
This sounds like just something out of what's that game called? Commodore Alchemy Meister.
Lift up his skirt, show the you know the Frankenbeans in spats.
Jesus Christ!
Full view.
It's like, so what's the title again? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, exactly. This anime just pulls no punches at all.
No.
So it knows what it's doing, basically.
It knows
like,
exactly what it's doing. It knows exactly what its target demographic is.
Okay, I like animes like that. That like they're not holding anything back. They know what they're going for.
Yeah, they're just unapologetic. They just do what they're gonna do, and anyone who doesn't like it doesn't need to watch it.
Yeah, it's like, hey, if you don't like it, there are tons of other anime out there that everyone enjoys.
Also, Opie Loli cowgirls. Although I think they're called minotaurs in this.
Probably.
With breasts way bigger than their head.
Well, I should say that's a de facto standard at this point.
Yeah, just I don't want to spoil anything. Just watch it. Go nuts.
We'll be watching many things.
Yeah, I just like that it just goes like it goes exactly there.
Also that opening.
Well, you know me, I don't pay attention to the opening.
Oh, really?
I don't pay attention to the opening or the ending. Like, it's
really?
very rare when
Did you skip the opening?
Attention. I didn't skip it, but I don't remember any of it.
I feel like it just did like a grievous sin. Like, what?
Okay, because it's basically
I'm unapologetic about skipping openings. Like, I don't. Okay. There's no way you're like, unless if I already don't care about an opening, there's basically no way you're gonna get me to care. There are openings that I never skip.
Okay, because like, basically
Panda, you know Billy. I almost beat Billy up because he was about to skip the opening to Sakura Wars.
Okay, he was about to commit the gravest of sins.
Oh, he was about to catch a beat down.
Yeah,
he was, because I saw him hovering over that video timeline, man. I'm like, don't you dare click that mouse.
You better let this play.
You and I are gonna have a problem.
It's like either go down, throw down, or bro down. Go.
Because it's basically YMCA.
No, that's also a good song.
Yeah,
too, yeah.
Different lyrics, but it's basically YMCA.
Yeah, so I also picked up the second volume of Bottom Tier Character Tomozaki out of the bookstore.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I've been following along with that.
I picked up a manga too.
What'd you get?
Gal Gohan.
See, I saw that in the bookstore, and I was contemplating picking it up.
Okay, pick that up.
Okay, all right. With your endorsement, I will pick it up next time I'm up in the bookstore.
All right, it's food. It's a garu.
Yeah. I haven't picked up any anime, physical anime or any manga lately. I've been like really slacking. I think probably soon I'll probably pick a few things up because I know I got a couple of things on my list that I need to get. Like I still need to pick up thus the Gates, thus the JSDF fought there. I need to pick that up on Blu-ray. I want to pick up Drifters on Blu-ray. That was really good.
Mm.
But lately I just been watching a lot of streams. So it's like, don't blame Panda. Panda got busy with work and shit. Real life shit.
Yeah, I have so much on my like stuff to watch on my both things I bought and on the computer, so I'm pretty good.
Like I just I was watching, I forgot what it's called, but it's like this wrestler gets transported to the fantasy world.
Yes, I know. True.
Yeah, it's like he has a huge thing for all things animals. So he'll go up to like a beast demon and he'll befriend them like it was nothing, and everyone else is trying to kill it, and he beats their asses down because it's like like all these animals, and we can make a business. Like that one had an interesting premise, and I actually enjoyed that a good bit. And Japan loves their wrestling. That's
okay. So a couple other things I've been watching from this season. Heya Camp, which is room camp, which means room camp, which is the short series spinoff for Laid Back Camp. Pretty cute, very short. But hold that thought when I talk about laid back. Just hold that.
Roger
Right?
that.
I also picked up this other short that nobody official subbing, so it's only fan sub. But it was one I was interested in seeing called Natsu Nagu. That's the one about the college girl who goes back to Kumamoto, the area that had the earthquake.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah, I remember
wow.
this one.
Yeah, I really like the main girl's character design, and that looks like it's gonna be a cute show. Magia record. You know what? I wasn't sure if it was gonna be. I don't think it'll ever be the way the original show is. It does still, it still is engaging. It's going at a lightning fast pace though. From what because I played some of the online of the game,
right?
And they're just blazing through the stuff that. So that's going to be very interesting. Things that match up with the game and match up with this.
Right.
But I am enjoying it. What's the other one? I said issues. Oh, Koisuro Asteroid, which is Asteroid of Love. That's still Gakubo show, and that one is really cute. That's actually my favorite anime of the season.
Yeah, it's one I intend to check out.
Yeah, it's really cute. It's Doga Kobo stuff. What's the other one I got? Okay, so I also picked up 227. Although if you doubt, it's Nanabun no Ni Uni. Oh wait, Ni Uni, something like that. That's the Idol one from A1 Pictures, with the character designs by the K-On character designer.
Right.
That was okay, but it's the type of thing that can easily just get really bad very early on. And it's one step away from getting to Wake Up Girls feeling.
Okay, that's a pretty damning review.
And I can't quantify exactly why, but it just has that kind of feeling of being a little bit more like the realistic Idol scenario.
Oh.
And like I said, it could go either way. The thing about me was, if you're not Idol Master or Love Live, you have to really, 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 really prove yourself as an Idol anime. And so far, yeah.
I was going to say, so for any Idol fans out there, look here.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's because I always go on Twitter about Idol stuff, but it's actually only two franchises. 3 if you count Tokyo Seven Sisters, but that doesn't actually have an anime. If that did, that would be great. But I hear that game's starting to go down, and so that's not going to get a series anytime, because they already would have gotten one by now. The only thing that I could say, again, I would love another Idol thing, a third contender, but so far there hasn't really been that. I'm still finishing up. I thought I would have finished it by now. It's been kind of a slow burn. Last NTR, I was telling you I was watching the Sentai show Flashman.
Yeah.
From 1986. So I did about 30 episodes, and 30 out of 50 so far. So yeah, I got about 20 more episodes. The thing about the Sentai shows, all before 1997, they're actually only like 19 minutes. So they're kind of easy to get through. It's just I was doing other stuff this week, so I couldn't watch as many.
So they're a little shorter than the usual anime episodes.
All the ones before 1997.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Then after they made them like the more 24-minute length.
It's like, hey, it's like, let's make this longer, but gotcha.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's because it was a time change, from what I understand.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now it's on Sunday mornings over there.
Which, can I say I am infinitely jealous of my youngest sister right now? Like, Anubis, I think I told you about this. Like, with my folks, with my dad and my sister and my youngest sister in Ohio.
Yeah.
Well, back then when I used to live out there, we had 4-channel, and that was back when G4 was still good. But then that was also the time they were starting to go downhill. Now they have a Japanese channel. So my youngest sister can watch all the anime she wants on that channel. And I'm like, well, I wish I had this ability, but you know what? Go for it. You do you.
I don't know. I find it. I'm gonna be hard pressed to get excited for anything TV based at all at this point.
Well,
Yeah, I have to agree. It's like you could just watch these things, already. You don't need.
Yeah, but the fact
And
that
if you
like there as an
really,
option.
well, like if you really want to have that TV like experience, they have an app called Pluto TV, and it's basically the same exact thing, except you don't even have to pay for it.
Wait, really?
Yeah, if you have a Roku or something like that,
Oh,
there's an app
gotcha.
called Pluto TV, and it has a 24/7 Naruto channel.
Jeez. Oh my god.
This is not a joke. There's a 24/7 Naruto channel.
Wow, that's interesting. Oh, I almost forgot. So, I said, this is a really good season, really strong season. You know what actually went above everything else?
What?
The live action laid back camp drama.
Yeah, I've been hearing some good things about that one.
I loved that. That was so good. That first episode. It is one-on-one with the anime. I watched it raw, but it doesn't matter because if you've seen the anime, you already know what they're saying.
But this is basically almost like a 1-for-1 with the anime version.
Pretty much, yeah.
So we entered in another world where a live action actually does do justice to the original anime material.
Well, apparently, like, Japanese live actions a lot more often than Western live actions actually stay relatively faithful to the source material. It's only when we bring it over to the West and make a live action version of it.
It
that
depends.
We fuck it up.
It depends because there was that live action. I never actually watched it, but I've seen the trailer for live action Attack on Titan.
Yeah, where you don't need to go back down memory lane. Let's not.
Yeah. It's when they try to do high concept action stuff that they kind of fall apart because they don't have that
The
Hollywood. Yeah, they don't have the budget. But the other thing is that is the way Japanese acting is. It's soap opera acting.
Like, you're better off doing Slice of Life. Like, to me, one of my favorite live actions.
Yeah, Slice of Life is.
Yeah. Like, one of my favorite live actions out there is always going to be Great Teacher Onizuka. Was done very well. They picked a great actor to portray, to give off the personality of Onizuka. Great. Like, they did a really damn good job. And they actually made a couple of sequels to that, too. So. It was pretty 1-for-1 with the episodes, too.
Imagine some other stuff that they would turn live action.
Well,
I kind of don't want to.
It's like we're already getting a live action Cowboy Bebop. which
No, I mean live
Unfortunately.
action over there. Live action over there.
other
Live action
than
no G-Con.
other than like what Space Yamato. Like I always see like hey, you want to know the Space Yamato live action? Here you go.
No, I'm just saying like things that don't have a live action, but things that would be interesting in live action.
Again, I kind of don't want to.
It's like Anubis is like
You don't want to like have
Wait.
jokey not explanation.
Anubis. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out.
Speculation.
Live action Genshiken.
That would be really easy to do.
Yeah, it could work. Totally works.
Just put a camera in our old anime club, and there you go.
Yeah, but what band I'd be like, okay, yeah, you can call it. We'll give you we'll allow you to use the Gundam name.
Live action.
Well, if you don't, then just do what they did in the original Genshiken and use fake anime names that people will immediately recognize as referencing the anime.
Yeah. It's like we clearly noticed we knew what they were building in there. We knew what they were watching.
See, we knew you can't call it a goof, but we know it's a goof.
Mm-hmm.
See, the stuff that they have the hardest time doing is stuff like, they get it every. It's almost cyclical, where it's like, oh shit, we need to compete with Hollywood. Well, we have things too. We can make live action, but they never go anywhere because they did a live action Gotcha Man.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Whenever someone in the board meeting says, we need to start competing with Hollywood, someone needs to kick down the door and say, no, you don't. No. Whatever's the opposite of that, do that instead, please.
Yeah.
Because
they can do their own. They can do their own thing, play to their strengths, like you said.
we like anime because it's different from all that bullshit.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the laid back camp one works so easy because it's so 1-to-1 with its source material.
You know what I think could actually breaking from what I said earlier, you know what I think could actually do well in live action is Amagami.
Yeah.
Because that's already it's a really down to earth series with a little bit of magical realism, but I think you could do that with real people and have it stay similar to
live action Photokano.
We could do that. Maybe. It wouldn't be quite as pretty with real people.
Weren't they considering doing a live action Lupin the Third?
It wouldn't surprise me if they did. Because that's a huge property, and that's the sort of thing that you could maybe do live action, maybe.
Yeah, it all depends on execution.
Hey, listen, in Korea, they did a live action Idolmaster drama. None of the it was all new idols. It wasn't anything from previous, but it was official Idolmaster.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Korean TV shows are definitely on the rise.
But they can never do like a live action Gundam.
Well, they fucking tried, and they called it G-Savior, and it was so bad that they erased it from the canon. So no, they can't do a live action Gundam. I would like them to if they could do it properly, but it's probably not going to happen.
They're making a live action Gundam in the States, right?
Well, fucking better be good, or else I'm gonna have the same problem that I had with the dude who almost skipped the Sakura Wars opening.
Well, the apparently the studio leading the charge is the same one who did what's Legendary
Pictures. Yeah, and they had the promo pic with the one of the Gundams from 8th MS team, which realistically, if you're gonna do a live action Gundam, you should probably just to play it safe, you should probably look to 8th MS team to
keep it on ground
keep
battles.
it on the ground because
Yeah.
listen, if you're not gonna, I don't trust Hollywood to do Gundam style space combat or Gundam style space anything on any level of quality. I barely trust them to do Gundam on the ground with any level of quality. But
anything that
MASH
involves...
exists, so we know we can at least get close to 8th MS team.
Like right now, the Legendary Pictures, for those who don't know, did movies like Pacific Rim, Kong Skull Island, the Godzilla movies, the Pokemon Detective Pikachu. So they, all things considering, they're the best ones for the job at this point.
Oh, I know it would be perfect.
It's not that they're the best; it's that they're the least bad ones for the job.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing, and then we'll take a break.
Yeah.
I know it would be perfect for live action.
What?
All right, because it's staring right at me. I have a giant poster. It's staring me right here. Working.
Yeah, that could work. That's easy enough to get right because it's just a cafe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, slice of life. It's like three things. Is it a comedy, romance, and slice of life? My God, we can make a live action series.
That would be hilarious seeing Inami punch the guy like in real life, in live action.
What's
just
that?
To see like how that would look.
What's that other maid show? Was it Maid Sama? Am I thinking about? It's on Netflix.
That other maid show. Okay, we're talking in anime now, so you're gonna have to be specific with that.
Yeah,
other
no,
maid
it's
show,
it's literally called.
We could
Maid.
be talking about "He Is My Master," and that would not work in live action.
No.
It's literally called Maid Sama, and it's on Netflix right now.
Live action Gochi Usa.
You wouldn't be able to capture the cuteness. So that wouldn't quite work. That's why I say Amagami, because that's like it's almost down to earth enough to be.
If they kept it like the viruses and the bacteria like Sentai looking like tokusatsu monsters, Cells at Work could actually work as a live action.
You'd have to get really creative to do Cells at Work live action.
Cells at Work could probably do it.
You'd have to get really creative.
Because the monsters
you'd basically have to make it not resemble the anime at all.
Well, no. Why wouldn't that be? Because you could have the people wearing the same,
Well, it would resemble Cells at Work in name only, but then you could repackage it as something entirely different, and it's just another thing about personifying the internals of the human body.
I got one. Food Wars. Easily do one.
You would need to make that food look really appetizing somehow. Quite honestly, just watch Iron Chef.
Get the guys of Iron Chef to do it then.
I just said just watch Iron Chef.
Oh yeah, Iron Chef.
We already have that. It's called Iron Chef. You can watch that, and we don't need to make a new live action of something.
You know what has a live action drama that they did? It came just before the anime did. Miss Koizumi Loves Ramen Noodles.
I never heard of that.
See, I haven't watched the anime for that, so I have no reference.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they did one. She had regular Japanese black hair instead of blonde hair. So she didn't really look like the manga. Nia in the chat says live action night shift nurse.
Oh God!
And on that bombshell, we're gonna go to a break.
Yeah.
Keep it right here on NTR Radio.
I could have sworn they made a live action La Blue Girl.
Welcome back to NTR Radio.
Hi.
So, let's news this because it is kind of news. Once I find the drop-in. Because you'd think it's N, but it's actually L.
Naturally.
Let's news.
Working to restore power.
Crunchyroll has a new studio. And the reason we know Crunchyroll has a new studio is because I believe it's their director of events. I say studio, I mean office. Crunchyroll has a new office, and their director of events posted about it on Twitter.
Really?
Yes. So this is going out in the IRC right now. Adam Sheehan, director of events at Crunchyroll, posted up a video showcasing some areas of the new Crunchyroll studio.
How much money did they spend?
That's the question. Might be the $1 million question, incidentally. That is the question. So to be 100% real, it's a very nice looking studio. That said, nice looking studio. Coming from a business nerd standpoint, nice looking studios are kind of indicative of. They may be indicative of particular problems going on in the business. So you see a lot of businesses, especially like tech startups on the West Coast, and this isn't saying anything about the way Crunchyroll rolls itself, but this is just speaking to a pattern amongst businesses. You'll see a lot of big tech startups on the West Coast, a lot of which don't make money, but sustain themselves off of rounds of seed funding. So they'll raise money through angel investors and whatnot. Then they'll continue losing money on their business until the next round of seed funding, when they can actually get some more money from investors to continue running their business. And a lot of them will have really cool offices that's sort of indicative of them wanting to be highly attractive to potential talent, but not necessarily doing what's necessary to actually run their business sustainably or actually be attractive to that potential talent in terms of things like benefits, pay, and whatnot. And you also see that a lot of the time they'll have this mentality of, hey, we have a really good company culture, which translated really means we're not gonna pay you competitively, and we're not gonna do anything like concrete, but we will have this really cool office space and this really cool break room that after a month we're gonna judge you for using.
Yeah. So the lesson here is, if you see like the office that looks dilapidated, that they're giving their people their money.
Also, let's not forget that Crunchyroll was funding their own animation, High Spice Guardian, and it's still not even out.
Okay, so here's the thing, and this goes into we're gonna get to the main topic of this, but so here we go. So out of Crunchyroll, you've got this new office, which is the latest iteration. You've got High Guardian Spice,
which is all complete. I heard.
You've got the Crunchyroll Awards, you've got Crunchyroll Expo.
Yeah,
You've got
on top of
all this auxiliary stuff. There's also accusation of them underpaying their translators.
oh, that's messed up.
So you've got all this stuff, and Crunchyroll is still out here on the support the anime industry thing. And of course, the way to support the anime industry, quote unquote, is to subscribe to Crunchyroll and give your money to, well, pay for Crunchyroll to be able to continue streaming anime, and through some way of that will be your contribution to the anime industry. Now, from most people's perspectives, when you say the anime industry, what you mean is anime studios. The anime studios that make the anime. Realistically, the anime industry is a lot bigger than that, but that's what anyone means when they say contributing to the anime industry. Is they're talking about giving money to the anime studios.
People that actually make the stuff that
Like people who help make this anime, people who translated it, people who help run your website or run your business. Like you just wanted to.
Well, clearly Crunchyroll isn't running their website. The player hasn't worked properly for years.
I heard it's still Flash.
I heard the
Is
same.
it still Flash based?
I've heard conflicting reports. There's some people who have no reason to lie to me about this, who say that it still has problems, similar problems to what I had with it back in the day before I unsubscribed.
Mm-hmm.
But so we hear all this support the anime industry rhetoric from Crunchyroll, and here's going to be the main idea. I'm going to explain to you people. In no uncertain terms, the support the anime industry rhetoric is a gigantic lie. I cannot understate how much of a lie this is. Due to the way the system works, there is basically no way you as a Westerner going through the legitimate Western channels can directly support the anime studios. It's not going to happen.
No, not unfortunately.
The system is set up so it doesn't happen.
They played us like a fiddle.
They didn't play. The only people they played. So here's what happens. All right. We get all these hand-wringing reports of the conditions that Japanese animators work under. And it's horrific, and they're underpaid, and yes, all of that. And then we get companies like Crunchyroll coming through, acting like heroes, saying, "Oh, we're trying to support the anime industry here, and we're providing you this service, and you're gonna pay us for whatever, and that's how we're gonna support the anime industry. That's how we're gonna do this.
We're gonna save the industry.
We're gonna. Your money is going to the anime industry, which, according to everyone, is the anime studios. What they don't tell people is that the anime industry is much bigger than the studios, and the majority of the anime industry, quote unquote, is made up by the production committees.
It's more than just the studio. It's the people that make the music. It's the tons of artists and design studios.
It's the distributors it's all the people who originally invested in the creation of the anime. All the people whose budget the studio, all the people from whom the studio's budget comes from. That's also the anime industry. But they're not going to tell you that because they want people to be under the impression that their money is going to the anime studios.
Well, I want you to just clarify so that way people can understand what you're getting at. When you say the various companies that make up the production committee, can you state some like examples of what would be on a production committee?
Okay, so I actually have a PowerPoint presentation that I've been working on that has an example of this. So, Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. That's 2018. On
All right.
the companies on the production committee of that show: Aniplex, which is an anime distribution company;
Yes.
ABC Animation, which is TV; Kadokawa, which produced the original light novel;
Okay.
Tokyo MX, which is a TV station; Nagoya Broadcast Network TV station; BS11 TV station;
Yes.
Hakuhodo DY Music and Pictures, that's the distribution company. You also had this stuff like the Enoshima Electric Railway, which contributed as an advertising partner to the production of that anime. And here's what you're not going to find on that production committee: Cloverworks, the studio that made that particular anime. Now, this anime is actually a bit of an anomaly because Cloverworks has a close working relationship with Aniplex. So Cloverworks might actually be getting out a little bit ahead of if they had used another studio for this. But the majority of anime studios don't have enough money to invest in their own productions. That is, to sit on the production committees that create the anime that they make.
One of the exceptions is unfortunate because of what happened last year, but yeah, KyoAni.
KyoAni is one of those studios that does have enough money to sit on production committees. Sunrise is another one with a close relationship with Bandai. There are more of the studios with that status than there used to be, but it's still the majority of them just don't have enough money to invest in their own anime. And that's what it comes down to, is investment. It's getting a return on an investment.
Now, stupid people will say, well, they should be making things that would actually make money instead of pandering to,
Well, here's the thing. They do. It's actually good you brought that up, because I have that statistic in this PowerPoint as well.
Oh, wow.
Only about 30% of anime fail to break even eventually. Most anime makes money. Might take a while, but the business model is set up so it's okay if it takes a while to break even. It will eventually break even, for the most part. Now, if we want to talk sales statistics, I can tell you a whole plethora of anime that are in the 0,000 club that I guarantee you didn't make a whole lot of money real fast. But that's going to be far too in the weeds. So when it's time to put an anime on, say, Crunchyroll, they're going to license the anime. Who are they going to license the anime from? It's not the studio. They don't have any claim to the anime. They did some work for hire. The license belongs to the license holder on the production committee, and that's where that money's going to go. Or in the special case of Crunchyroll might be sitting on the production committee. Crunchyroll might have invested their own money into the creation of an anime. Like Shield Hero. They were on the production committee for Shield Hero. I believe they were also on the production committee for the anime about the office lady who becomes a NEET and plays MMOs. Recovery of an MMO Junkie. They're on the production committee for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the money flows in this industry from west to east. So when you're dealing with a company in the West that licenses anime, that all that money is going to the production committee. Now, depending on who's on that production committee, some of it might make it into the hands of a studio eventually, like in the case of Bunny Girl Senpai. Cloverworks might have gotten some money out of that only by virtue of their close relationship with Aniplex, because Aniplex basically directly funds studios like A1 Pictures because they're basically their in-house animation production.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, for anyone wondering, like people might be thinking, oh, Sunrise, they might be sitting on their own. Bandai owns Sunrise. Yeah,
Sunrise sits on their own production committees because Bandai owns Sunrise.
Aren't sub-anime studios even going to places like Kickstarter to be like, hey, we want to make some stuff, but we just don't have the money to do it?
That is true. There have been, I don't think it's studios, but like more like individual creators who went to Kickstarter to try and fund anime. Under the Dog was one, Kick Heart was another, and you have Studio Trigger who has their Patreon account. And so Studio Trigger is real big in the West, and they know they're real big in the West. So they can capitalize off of going on Patreon because they know they have a large fan base who will put in some money to support them.
I just read before, but it was from 4chan, so I don't know how I can't 100% verify this, but that something like JC staff made makes half their money back this year from streaming.
Is it streaming in the West or streaming over in Japan? Because they have their own streaming infrastructure.
See, that I don't know, but it's probably streaming in Japan.
Because based on what I know about the business model, it's not likely that they're seeing a whole lot of money. And you had that one interview out of Otaku USA. Let me see if I can find it.
Sure.
Because
it's something about it was something about like Blu-ray and DVD sales going down.
Oh yeah. Well, it's been going down for a while.
But again, you can't buy everything that you watch.
So this is Otaku USA and interview with Terumi Nishii. And here we go. Like, what about overseas companies who are heavily invested in anime?
Oh God, the Patrick
answer: we have not felt the effects at all. Words again, we have not felt the effects at all. And this is talking from the perspective of an animation director, character designer, an anime studio veteran, saying directly from the horse's mouth, we have not felt the effects at all from these companies, these overseas companies heavily investing in anime. And actually have another this is coming from the Anime Industry Report from, I believe, the 2018 Anime Industry Report, which talks about the 2017 numbers. So the website is aja.gr.jp/English/Japan-anime-data. We're looking at the Anime Industry Report 2018 summary. I'm going to open this up real quick because I know exactly where to go. Once it downloads, in fact. So you might have heard a big hullabaloo about this particular report, in fact, saying that around 46% of the Japanese anime industry's revenue comes from overseas. That is, almost half of the anime industry's revenue comes from overseas.
God damn.
Yeah, it's pretty significant, isn't it?
So, it's actually pretty big. It's bigger than I thought it would be. Holy shit.
But if we understand, if we understand how to read statistics, and two, understand business models, we get a little bit more insight that actually plays back into my point and plays against all the other people who are making points off of this. This coming from the heading on page 2 of the PDF, topics in the Japanese animation industry from 2016 to 2017. Overseas market size close to domestic market size. This is going about a third of the way through the article. With the current figures, it's hard to deny the Japanese market relies on the sales in the overseas market. Substantial growth in the overseas market, which covers the decline of the domestic growth, is fully welcomed. Yet it is frightening that Japan greatly relies on the overseas market. There are several risks to be concerned over, such as sudden change in the business environment in China due to politics, or the distribution environment occupied by U.S. major platforms. Actually, the animation industry in this instance, they're talking about the studios directly, gains no upliftment despite the record-breaking sales in the market. Words again, gains no upliftment despite the record-breaking sales in the market. This may be because animation studios and the like have few chances to obtain the benefits from sales arising from internet distribution and application games, which are thought to occupy a large part of overseas sales. So, to break that down, yes, half of the anime industry's revenue is coming from overseas. But the more of the anime industry's revenue comes from overseas, the less makes it into the hands of studios.
It's like a rock and a hard place, basically.
Well, it's like they want to. The industry should and from what I'm reading, want to repatriate a lot of that income, or at the very least raise their domestic income, because otherwise, despite all you can have as many marketing memes as you want coming from the Western industry, but if the Japanese industry can't raise its market share compared to how much is coming from overseas, you're gonna have a bad outcome for a lot of these studios, and no one here is gonna understand why, because we're all supporting the anime industry. What's happening? Because everyone is allowing themselves to be lied to because they don't understand business models.
A lot of people see is, oh, more anime's coming here. No. They just, like you said, understand logistics, how it got here in the first place.
Well, it's the logistics of how it got here, and then it's the marketing when it is here. Because it's a damaging paradigm. That one, we have companies that feel the need to lie by omission at the very least to their customers in order to sell their service. And two, again, if this paradigm continues and you see a cross between the Japanese industry market share going down and the overseas market share going up, we're going to encounter some problems that people think they're solving, but they're not really solving because they're being lied to.
And sure, we ain't supporting Jack,
Well, so here's the other thing, and let me see if I can find this quickly, because this actually reinforces specifically Crunchyroll in how this is kind of damaging to the idea of supporting the industry. This is coming from the Otaku Journal. This is coming from otakujournalist.com article, Where Your Crunchyroll Dollars Really Go, an interview with the CEO. So this is a 2013 interview with former Crunchyroll CEO Kun Gao, talking about Crunchyroll's business model and how it works, and how the money is distributed is one part of where this interview goes. So we're talking about the second heading below the title. You vote with your views. Seventh Styles blog posts assumes the Crunchyroll splits your subscription payment between all 400 plus shows it offers, but the reality is far more interesting than that. Quote, this is Kungao. If you just watch Naruto, your subscription money goes towards supporting that show. If you watch more than one show, the money is split proportionately among those shows depending on which ones you watch the most. So if you're watching Kill la Kill 75% of the time and Golden Time on the other 25%, that means Kill la Kill's publisher gets 75% of your money. On Crunchyroll, the more anime you watch, the more publishers you support. Now, here's a quiz. Can anyone tell me what's wrong with that business model? Well, not necessarily wrong, but what's the hidden detriment to that business model?
Popular shows are going to get money, and the other shows out there trying to make a buck, they're going to...
That's actually one I didn't think of. It's not the one I'm thinking of, but that's a very good point.
Yeah. Because, you know, you got the popular anime out there making their money, and then you got all these anime shows out there that people barely watch, that's like, oh, you know.
All right, so I'm going to take a field trip to crunchyroll.com.
Oh, God. We haven't been to that website in a while.
Yeah, this is a blast from the past.
Same setup, too. They haven't changed their UI system.
Oh, of course. Well, why would they?
And look, it's the Anime Awards. Demon Slayer is going to be up there for majority of the win.
Yeah, that's real talk.
Because it's a public vote system and not, you know.
Well, it's a public vote system, and if you... let's take a segue. Let's take a field trip to the Anime Awards. I get a problem here. It's a public vote system, and if you look at their list of judges, it's... you either have people who have a clear... have some kind of clear bias, like a very clear bias, or people who just looking at the outset of it have nothing to do with anime, and I wonder why they're here.
Like, I know for a fact that Demon Slayer is probably going to win the Anime of the Year, and anything with Demon Slayer related is going to win in their categories. It's like, plus, I think the first 2 years they've had issues doing it because they've made some mistakes here and there. It's like, come on, guys. First year I get, but why are you still making...
It's like a few years ago when, like, Yuri on Ice just swept the whole Crunchyroll Awards.
Yep, Yuri on Ice. Yuri on Ice. Yuri.
And it's like, well, yes. Number one, yes, the most popular show is going to win. Number two, yes, the show Crunchyroll King made is also going to win. Because I'm going to tell you what, I caught sight of the fact that, this post on Twitter back in the day when Yuri on Ice was just ending, everyone's really excited in the office. We're doing a live watch of Yuri on Ice in the Crunchyroll office. They didn't do that shit for any other show. So I'm not saying it's king making, but actually I really am saying it's king making. But going back to my point, so a Crunchyroll premium subscription is $6.95 a month. So let's be generous and round it up to $7.
Okay.
So, and we're gonna make an assumption that we know is wrong, but is generous enough that it's gonna make my point even stronger. So we're gonna assume, again, we know this isn't the case, but we're gonna assume that all $7 of that is going to the anime industry. Now, so I'm looking at the Crunchyroll front page, and alright, so if I decide to watch Somalia and the Forest Spirit all this month, then that's $7 per month going to Somalia and the Forest Spirit. Fair enough. But what if I'm What if I'm hardcore? What if I am balls deep in anime? What if I'm watching everything on this front page? I'm watching, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 anime on this front page. What if I'm watching all of those in a month? So I'm only paying $7 per month. So what really happens is every show gets 58 cents. So you could make a very convincing argument that the more anime you watch on Crunchyroll, the less meaningful your contribution to the anime industry is.
Mm-hmm.
So because here's the thing. If we're talking, like if we're talking physical discs, then the more anime you watch via physical discs, the more money you're spending, because you need to buy all those discs, and that's just more money. But with a subscription business model, if you're paying one price per month, and you're gonna divvy that up between each and every show, then how meaningful can you really say your contribution is to every show? Oh, okay. Between anime fan number 1, who's only watching one anime all month, and between anime number 2, who's watching 12 anime all month, whose contribution is more meaningful? Somali in the Forest Spirit is getting $7 between all these shows, all these Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken and Room Camp and Boruto Next Generations and Fire Force, all those getting 58 cents off of this person who thinks they're doing a service, who thinks they're doing real good for the anime industry by watching all of their anime on Crunchyroll.
Which they're better off just paying for, like, buying the DVDs or Blu-ray, the manga, everything else. It's just
better. What? Well, here's the thing, and here's where I start getting into the second point. It's that, okay, supporting the anime industry as a Westerner going through legitimate Western channels is a massive lie. You can't do it. There's people trying to come up now with all these different ways to circumvent the production committee business model. You don't fucking want to do that as much as you think you want to do that. Because the production committee is where all the money comes from to make the anime in the first place. We can't fund every anime off of Kickstarter. I'm sorry.
It's also why this is so much variety in last episode we said there's something for everyone this season.
VZ, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. The production as much as everyone wants to shit on that business model, the production committee business model is what distributes the risk so much that we can continue to have all these really out there anime. We can continue to have something for everyone. We can continue to make anime that isn't just the most popular thing that's guaranteed to sell. One, because all the risk is distributed, so a company isn't crippled if an anime doesn't do well. And two, just because the structure of the business model is such that most anime will make money eventually, and there should really be more respect for that coming from the Western fan base. But I kind of understand why there's this disdain for the production committee business model, because these are people who had just gotten done getting lied to by people who promised to give their money to the studios, but really gave their money to the production committee. So I can't really blame them, but it is a failure to understand what business models operate with.
Here's an interesting thing about Crunchyroll I just noticed. I'm posting it in the IRC real quick. So that's their planned events, and we know that Crunchyroll, also goes to other conventions and they, help them out and like blah blah blah.
Oh yeah,
Which, again,
they
a lot of
sponsor
money.
conventions. They sponsor a bunch of conventions.
Yeah, here's the thing. Through the list, and then I see international conventions. I'm like, wait.
Uh, if Crunchyroll's given so much money to the anime industry, how exactly are they affording to do all these events, including their own event that they put on themselves, put out the anime awards, do High Guardian Spice, their own production that nobody asked for,
which is not even out yet, I don't think.
which was supposed to come out like September or something last year, probably earlier than that. Was supposed to come out last year, but still hasn't come out. How are they able to afford a brand new office that looks baller as hell?
Posted down their Crunchyroll Expo. I posted down a link of their ticket prices. I'm like, Jesus Christ,
Damn,
you're better off
son.
going.
That's early bird?
That's early bird. They
Damn,
are
son.
as expensive as a weekend pass Anime Boston.
That's like that, and that's early bird.
That's early bird. That is early bird. Like, this convention is how old now?
It's only been on for a few years.
I want to 2017.
Yeah, it's only been on for a few years now. So,
and again, do they need to do their own convention? I don't think so. They're better off at just going to these other conventions, just representing.
Here's the thing. Here's the shit thing about it. They kind of do need to do their own convention, and here's why. As we continue on this paradigm of trying to bridge East and West, eventually we call into question how necessary companies like Crunchyroll, companies like Funimation, all them are in terms of getting anime over here. Because here's the thing. So, obviously, Aniplex decided that they saw enough potential in our collector market to set up their own shop here, Aniplex of America, and start selling collector's edition Blu-rays to the American market. Now, this isn't a mature paradigm, because we saw Pony Canyon start doing the same thing, but they didn't really have the titles to back up the costs they were asking for. But we know that there's a precedent for this. We know that Aniplex is a pretty major company as far as anime goes. So we know that there are major companies keeping an eye on this market to see if it would be advantageous for them to start making some inroads here. And I remember a few years back there was an interview with, I believe, the head of Aniplex of America. This was on ANN, and the interviewer was asking, are you having any difficulty trying to market the same anime in different regions? And the head of Aniplex of America said, no, not really. Because an anime fan, you take a Sword Art Online fan in Japan and a Sword Art Online fan in America, and they're basically the same fan. They have more in common than they have difference. They have more in common based on their preference for this kind of animation than they have different based on the difference between their nations of origin. So if we roll that all the way through, eventually, and this is where we started really quickly approaching during the beginning of the late 2000s, the early 2010s, is we started getting real close to the Japanese side of things. It's like, okay, we're getting simulcast dubs now. We're that close to the Japanese side of things. And what's going to end up happening eventually is if we're continue on the paradigm of anime fan in the East, anime fan in the West, same fan, then eventually we're gonna end up calling into question how necessary some of these licensing firms are. So, as a result, we need the big licensing firms who are trying to grow their business and sustain their massive bloated businesses. They have to get into this sort of community building style marketing thing, so they can convince people that there is a specific way that Western anime fans need to be marketed to. They're trying to secure their own. They're trying to secure their own job security by saying, "Whoa, hey, wait up, hang on. Things are a little bit different over here," even when that might not necessarily be quite as true as they want it to be. That's the way I look at it, and that's why, in a way, they do need to do Crunchyroll Expo. And they do need to do the Anime Awards. They do need to make their own anime. Because if we continue and start wanting to get even closer to the Japanese side of things than we are now, we start to heavily call into question just how necessary Crunchyroll is. But to get into like the second, because a lot of what I just laid down was a lot of doom and gloom, a lot of just like no uncertain terms. From the West, you cannot support the anime industry. It's not going to happen. So we should stop worrying about that. Because here's what happens when you let people market to you that way, when you let people market to you in a way as, oh, you're doing something noble and charitable by patronizing my business. You're allowing them to gain your business by a way other than providing a quality product. And this is especially true in Crunchyroll's case, where, support the anime industry. Sure, how am I supposed to do that when your web player doesn't work?
Still doesn't work. Still.
It's like, sure, you have this noble marketing, but what about your product? What about your product when the whole thing is like, oh, we had the thing a few years back where they were caught having the bit rates on some of their shows. And it's like, oh, whoa, hang on. Just because you're supporting the anime industry, quote unquote, doesn't mean you can let your product languish. Because, and this gets into my point. What we should be doing is fostering a healthier market for things over here. And the way to do that is to not buy things based off of support the anime industry. Because I just explained how much of a lie that is. Buy products because they're good. That's it. It's as simple as that. Because otherwise you're fundamentally creating an unhealthy market. You're creating a market where someone can lie to you and gain your business because they've concocted a brilliant set of words on social media to basically guilt you into buying their product. When realistically, it's like, hey, put out a good product and I'll buy it.
Exactly.
I don't buy my anime to support anyone. I buy it because I want the product and it's a good product.
It's like that, what was it? Field
I
of
subscribe
Dreams.
to High Dive because High Dive is a good product. They have their streaming player works, which is a lot more than I can say about some other anime streaming services. But other than that, they have a great library. Their layout is good. Their library is good. Their player is good. The price is right. Hey, they put out a good product. You also notice that you don't see a whole lot of that support the industry marketing coming out of the High Dive social media, but that's beside the point. They put out a good product. I watch anime on Amazon Prime because it's a good product. I don't care. I don't really care about supporting anyone. I care about buying good product. Now, you can say that makes me a bad person, but I understand the business model. I'm not prepared. I'm not about to bend myself in a pretzel, so an anime studio can get $5 off of some purchasing decision I made based on that anime studio getting $5 from me. I'm not gonna lose sleep over that. It's important to. This isn't a charity. This is a market. You're a consumer in a market. Ostensibly, the reason anyone buys anything is because they want the product. It's certainly possible to come up with some creative marketing saying, okay, if you buy XYZ, some of our money will go to this, but we shouldn't reward that behavior if they're putting out a good product, if they're putting out a bad product. And some of these licensing firms, and Crunchyroll isn't the only one, are putting out bad product habitually. And I think something that's a lot more important than being worried about supporting the anime industry from over here, where the entire business model basically precludes that from happening unless you're importing, then I think it's more important that we foster a healthy market over here. We create a healthy environment around anime over here. Because otherwise we create an open field for companies that have no real love for the medium or its history or most importantly its fans to come and run roughshod over the subculture to make money off of us. And here's the thing. If some people want to foster that kind of environment, hey, cool in the gang, we're going to become enemies, but cool in the gang. But I don't think most people in this subculture want to foster that kind of environment. I really don't. I think most people in the subculture want to have a healthy environment, and they don't necessarily understand that the support the industry thing is not only not contributing to a healthy environment, but actively detracting from making this a healthy environment. Because they actually believe that the support the industry thing is a truth. When speaking about the anime industry, and meaning the anime studios. So from a standpoint of trying to support the anime studios, it's not going to happen. Not the way the industry and the market is set up. Doesn't happen. So I feel like it's important to stop worrying so much about supporting the anime industry and worry more about creating a healthier market over here. And in some ways that will not trickle down, but in some ways that will contribute better to the health of the industry over there. Because if we're continuing down and what we have are a bunch of companies taking advantage of the subculture over here, that's going to eventually cause a breakdown somewhere. And if we don't want that to happen, it's important to care about the health of the industry on both sides of on whatever side of the Pacific that you can affect yourself. So for us Westerners, that's our market. And sure, there's people who do all the importing stuff, more power to them. But as far as the people who still buy Western releases, we got to dispense with this support the industry nonsense, because it's a giant marketing lie, and we should really be caring more about the health of the industry over here.
Yeah, I don't think buying like Amigami for $11 last Christmas was gonna really, because it was cheap.
Well, it's like you bought a product because it was good and the price was right.
Yeah.
That's all we can expect from anyone. Yep. That's all we should expect from anyone. And anyone out here trying to make people feel a way about, oh, well, you're not supporting the anime industry, especially when it comes from a standpoint of trying to harangue people into subscribing to a subscription service, which we just got done proving actually reduces an individual's value to the anime industry the more anime they watch on that service.
Tonight on 2020, does supporting Crunchyroll stream actually harm the industry more than it helps?
Well, here's the thing. It's not like it harms the industry, but compare two avid watchers of anime. One of them watches everything on Crunchyroll. The other pirates stuff, sure, but also has a huge fucking shelf full of anime. Whose contribution is bigger?
I want to say the one who has a huge collection.
The one who's clearly spent probably approaching $1,000 on anime.
It can all really do add up too if you think about it. Like, and even then, if there's a sale going on, every medium has sales going on. Like they're gonna get go for it.
Yeah,
grow your collection.
So it's insane. It's insane to me, and it really speaks to the fact that this is a marketing lie, that so much of the support the industry rhetoric ends up being with the solution being, oh, subscribe to a streaming service. when realistically if we're gonna do this support the industry thing, what we really should be doing is trading pictures of our anime shelves and our figure collections. But because support the industry is basically conceived and used as a marketing meme, specifically to harangue people into subscribing to subscription services, we get a skewed view of that even. So yeah, that's my conclusion. Stop worrying so much about supporting the industry. It's like, well, here's the thing. So, from Iyashike, Weebinomics, why supporting the industry is hard. This last two paragraphs. In many ways, supporting the industry has been co-opted into a marketing term used to harangue people away from piracy. As a result, people have romanticized anime studios and the anime production process and neglected the big business behind it. Perhaps the best way we have of supporting the anime industry is to continue paying into the current business model to the best of our ability, whether that's through streaming subscriptions, buying Blu-rays, or ordering merchandise, and to worry more about buying the stuff we want than about whether or not we're giving enough back to the industry. And I think that's the show. What do you think?
Yeah,
I think we're good. I always love it when you go on like let Anubis speak.
Because I saw these fucking videos and photos of the Crunchyroll office, and I saw how everyone was dunking on this guy, saying, "Oh, what? I guess that's where all the money you didn't pay your translators went."
Yeah, no, it's pretty savage in there. Not gonna lie, I took a peek and yeah, they're not pulling their punches.
And I'm like, number one, seriously, Crunchyroll? Like, very really seriously, this is where you're spending your money? You're getting this swanky new office?
Like they literally made their office look like it's like alleyways of like, you know, in a Japanese city basically.
They made it look like I think they were trying to go for Akihabara, but I think they made it look more like a district in Shinjuku, I believe. And
Yeah.
from tweets I've been reading, they actually spelled I think Crunchyroll wrong in the katakana, which is hilarious.
How the hell did you mess that up?
So what really happens is if they want to fix that, they're gonna have to spend more money.
And again, it's Christ, like what's wrong
like
with
the
this
person
regular...
that gets the tattoo but doesn't know what it said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of speaks to the whole thing. It's like, okay,
What a perfect analogy.
just how invested are these people in the anime subculture specifically?
Yeah. Wow. What a beautiful analogy for this whole thing. You couldn't even get your thing right.
But it's like it's the exact equivalent of it's the corporate equivalent of people who buy expensive looking stuff just to flex on Instagram. And they're
Oh, so the people that buy pop vinyls.
well, realistically, it's not even that, because those are like $20. Like
Not even. Those are $10.
I was mistaken. I overestimated the cost of pop vinyls. They're like $10. So like, there's no one flexing on Instagram with pop vinyls, but it's.
No, but there are people who like, you know, it's like. I mean, I didn't want to say fake nerds, but it's people who are like tier 1, but wish they were like at tier 20.
Well, they got quite a bit to go before they got to spend about 25 times that much on one of these quarter scale bunny girl figures before they level up like that. What I'm saying is it's tacky. It's tacky when they know people are upset about them because the web player doesn't work properly. They know people are upset about them because they went and used money to make High Guardian Spice, which nobody asked for and is also late. So
here's the thing.
Even for the people who wanted it, they can't get it yet because
I want to know, like, what are they waiting for? What are they waiting for to just put it up already?
Realistically, they might be waiting for everyone to forget about it because they got so much shit about it, and rightfully so.
Yeah, that was a huge negative. Like when they announced it,
here's the thing, kind of tangentially, but yet still kind of related. It's a tangent, but related. Apparently that new Thundercats, you know the one.
Yeah,
Thundercats.
Oh God.
The one everyone was like, "Oh my God, what did you do?"
Yeah.
What did you do to my boy?
Yeah, the Cal art style one. Apparently premiered like this week.
Yeah, I saw like one clip of it, and that's about it.
Yeah, we already. It's like, it's like, why does it exist? You know, Jesus Christ.
But Crunchyroll knows people are upset about them for starting their own convention with money that was ostensibly supposed to go to either support the animators in Japan or pay their translators here. They know they're upset about them about starting the anime awards, upset about them for the same reason. And then they go and post about their new office. It's like, really, guys? It's tone deaf.
Well, what's wrong with just having a regular office, just decorating it a bit, and that's it? You know, you don't need to transform your office into
Well, it's kind of less like, it's less what's wrong with having a new office and more like, do you need to be out here flexing your office?
Yeah.
When you've got translators you should be paying, when you've got contributions to the anime industry that you promised everyone in your marketing that you were making, but instead we see you getting this baller ass new office with a bunch of unnecessary decorations.
So
I saw that and I was thinking, you know what? This is so ridiculous. This is so ridiculous that they're still on this support the industry, but we're getting a new office. But we're making this new thing that we're calling an anime, but nobody who respects the medium is going to call it an anime too. We swear we're contributing to the anime industry, but we're also putting on our own entire convention while sponsoring a plethora of other conventions. It's like, and combine that with what I know about the business model, and I know they're lying. They're straight up lying to everyone, to everyone's face. But because they know people don't understand the business model, they get to. And so I'm saying, like, listen, forget about supporting the anime industry as a Westerner through legitimate Western channels. Just forget about it. And start being a good consumer in the market. Pay for good products. Because realistically, that's the best way to make the best market we can. That's the best way that we can create an infrastructure that will actually do some good.
It's like that quote from Field of Dreams movie, "If you build it, they will come." Same thing.
If you build it, they will come. and if we cultivate a much healthier market over here, then what really happens is we start to get companies, and we start to morph the existing companies into companies that companies that care, but companies that can work with that bridge we're trying to build between East and West, instead of trying to secure their own market share by marketing things that in a way are fundamentally not accurate to what the Western fan base wants, what the Western fan base writ large wants.
And I think that's the show.
That is indeed the show.
Mm.
The email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. The website is ntrradio.net. VZ stuff is at vzmk2moemekagatite@wordpress.com. BigBookOfIdols.com is his book. Keep an eye on that URL. He does the shirts. Those are at iashike.moe/store. iashike.moe being where I post articles about otaku lifestyle, otaku self-development, con culture, and all that good stuff. Bakugaijin show, Otaku Midnight, both those shows are really good. Shinden 9 has a podcast now. That is called Asobi FM. You can follow that at Asobi FM on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, I'm at TEnubis on Twitter. VZ is at VZMK2 on Twitter. The Panda is at _geeky_panda on Twitter. Shinikiba.moe for your half-naked anime girl figures. I'm Tom Forster Nubis.
I'm VZ Mark II.
And I'm the Geeky Panda.
And even though we support the anime industry every time we say it, this is NTR Radio.